Hello everyone, this is Bhavna from Z Business. With Budget 2025 just around the corner, we are gearing up to give you the latest trends and insights. In today's session of Budget Bucket List, we will dive into Madhvi Arora's key expectations from the upcoming Union Budget. Madhvi is Chief Economist at MK Global Financial Services. Hello Madhvi, welcome to Z Business.
Hi.
So let's start with, given the current economic scenario, what kind of a fiscal deficit target would you consider sustainable for 2025-26?
So, to be very honest, the government of India this time around could not necessarily spend to the extent that they budgeted, especially on the capital expenditure front, which is actually a very election phenomena. Every election year, you see government spending much lesser than budgeted, and generally the excess being faced by the capital expenditure. So the government had budgeted close to 11.1 trillion capex. I think they will probably be short of around sub 10 trillion overall, which will be around 3.1, 3.2% of GDP versus 2.4% that they targeted, essentially implying that even if you keep everything else constant in terms of their spending pattern, excluding capital expenditure and assuming they're able to achieve their revenue target, this year any which way they are looking to be doing much better than the budget in terms of their fiscal target, which is what was around 4.9%. Most likely you'll be seeing government printing around 4.7% or so. And next year, in line with the FRBM target and their glide path that they had sort of laid out earlier, I think they will be any which way planning to cut it down to further to 4.5%. So I think the bigger question is going to be at what level do you see the debt to GDP ratio declining at a natural equilibrium level, which is where I think the policymaker will have to take a tough call.
Okay, so do you think that economic growth has bottomed out for now?
Well, on sequential basis, yes. So, you are obviously going to be seeing a much better print in the third quarter and the fourth quarter, second half of GDP of the year. Probably we'll see GDP averaging close to 6.2, 6.3% versus 6% in the first half. So, possibly in the whole year, you will still see close to 6.1% GDP growth. Next year also, we're looking at a more sideways story for Indian economy, more a U-shaped recovery than a V-shaped one, because we are still not very convinced with the kind of consumption recovery that some people are talking about, especially in the rural segment. So I think for the year 26, we are looking at GDP growth at around 6.3%, which is not a very material improvement from FY25, where we are looking at a 6.1% GDP.
What about the sectors like infrastructure and manufacturing? Do you think there is enough focus on crucial sectors like these, or more needs to be done there?
So the policymakers have been, to be very fair, have been spending a lot on infra-led sectors, right? In fact, the biggest achievement of the Modi government has been to improve the spending skew towards capex versus revenue expenditure in general. The share of revex to capex is actually in total expenses actually moved in favor of capital expenditure until very recently. But again, as I said, this year should be seen as an anomaly year because it was an election year, and generally you tend to see governments missing targets of capex.
So the Modi government has also been focusing on farmers, women, job creation, and the middle class, right? So is there anything else that needs to be brought up on that list?
Their spend on the rural and agriculture development combined has been stagnant around around 1.2% of GDP. That has not increased as a share of GDP per se. Last year, of course, they had focused a lot on certain revenue expenditure which actually have a more medium-term impact on human capital. I think that should continue, whether it is on education, health, all those three factors, which probably would be still a tad rural focused or semi-rural focused. I think those are the factors, segments that they will probably continue to spend more, even when they are increasing the revenue expenditure. But if you look at the broad category, I think the spend has been relatively less if you look at the average of last 3 years, especially in sectors which are more vulnerable.
So as you said, health and education are two crucial areas of developing, as well as developed nations, right? So do you expect more rise in this upcoming budget?
I don't know how much is the rise, but as a percent of GDP, that number already had gone up in terms of spend. So I think that proportion of GDP would continue. So, that essentially will imply there'll be at least 6-7% or more growth in this segment.
What about defense? Has there been a fair allocation there?
They didn't spend enough in defense, right? That's one sector in the key segments which did not see the same kind of thrust which we saw last year on spend. That segment is the one which is the lagging one on capex. I think next year there will be almost 15% plus growth that you will see in defense, because this year they are probably going to be achieving less than 90% of or 85% of their total target for the year.
Right. So, do you expect any changes in personal income tax slabs?
Yeah, I'm not sure whether there have been discussions about it. I think there could be some tweaks in the PIT bit, but I'm not sure they'll be very meaningful. But we'll have to wait and watch and see how they're going to play around the DTC and overall the direct tax regime. Because that's the only play that they have in terms of going more innovative on increasing the revenue stream.
So, how can the government strike a balance between spending, on welfare schemes and maintaining fiscal prudence?
The trade-off that all policymakers tend to face, right? The only aim for the policymakers in a slowdown or an economy which is going through a little bit of a slowdown is to not be pro-cyclical. In fact, try to counter the slowdown. The way that they could do essentially, that bit is by largely keeping the expenditure to GDP ratio constant, despite the fact that they will still have to go through a consolidation process. That is non-negotiable for the government. So while they are, overall reducing their impulse, they have to ensure that whatever spend that they're doing has a very high multiplier effect.
So, Madhvi, finally, what is your wish list for the upcoming union budget?
I think my only hope is that the policymakers, as I said, find ways and means to be more innovative in terms of mobilizing their revenues, finding low-hanging fruits in terms of generating more income, so that they don't have to necessarily cut on their spending, whether it's revenue expenditure or capital expenditure. I think both of them are required at this point in time in this current down cycle. But at the same time, I understand that they also want to enter into a regime where the fiscal deficit becomes sustainable, and to the extent that there will be a natural correction in debt to GDP ratio, where a large part will be driven also by how the growth turns out.
Thanks, Madhvi. Thanks for your time.